ABC Listen. Podcasts, radio, news, music and more.
Eliud and Sifan, could I ask both of you, neither of you have anything left to prove from a competitor standpoint. I'm just wondering, at this point of your careers, what do you draw as a sense of motivation and inspiration to continue to compete in a race that is such a massive challenge?
I don't know, and I don't need to prove anything. But I want to still press on to promote the movement. I believe running is the movement. I believe marathon actually is life.
To me, I'm very curious person, and I do crazy stuff. And I want to also young people, young athlete, young student, they just don't stuck on one thing. Just do be open-minded, be curious, solve the problem. I just wanted to learn how to. That's actually more motivate me to do many things and challenge myself and of course I'm very scared, but I'm really there to do it.
That is Olympic gold medalists Eliud Kipchoge and Sifan Hassan speaking to me ahead of the Sydney Marathon this weekend. These are two all-timers. Hassan has won Olympic gold in the 5K, the 10K, the marathon. Kipchoge, he's the greatest. The first to cover that distance in under 2 hours. Look, the marathon is as hard as a running race gets. So what drives competitors to keep putting in the work? And what makes these two so very good? And how might their rivals try and take them down? I'm Patrick Stack. This is ABC Sport Daily. Today is a little different. You're going to hear from two of Australia's best marathon racers, Brett Robinson and Jess Stenson. We've asked them the same thing we asked Kipchoge and Hassan. Why do they do what they do? Before we spoke to them about those two headline athletes. Hope you enjoy.
I guess what I'm interested in today is marathoners at the elite level and why you guys keep coming back to do it. I think this is nearly your 20th. The body of work that goes into it, what is it that draws you back over and over again, given the sacrifice involved?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. The challenge and the big body of work that goes into it is what makes it such a special and satisfying event. So I admittedly get to the final Ks of any marathon and think, okay, this is my last one, never doing this again. But then you feel that immense sort of satisfaction and you celebrate that body of work you've done and what it took to get to the finish line. And I think you just crave that feeling again. And it's not so much about just crossing the finish line. I actually really do enjoy the process these days as well. You feel that fitness building and you feel yourself getting stronger over the weeks of a marathon build. And generally it involves a whole team of people, training partners, and so I think as my career's gone on, I'm learning to really appreciate just the everyday training. So you get to the start line and you have that experience on race day, and that's generally a really special moment, but I actually just do love the process of preparing for a marathon too.
Yeah, I think that makes it even more special. When you kind of lock yourself away for a few months and really dig into training and just you have one race on the calendar you're thinking about every single day, it just makes it so much more special. Especially when you nail it, it's okay, all that was so worth it.
Running and marathon is a movement. Now Sydney has joined a real movement in this world, where we can move our minds, where we can move our hearts, where we can move our souls. There is nothing actually you can move your heart, your mind and your soul like a marathon.
And even when you don't have the best race, you're still okay, what I've achieved in the last 3 months is still something special. So I think there's so much you can get out of it. It's just a lot more than if you're doing a track race and you do a 1500 and it doesn't go too well, you do one the next week. Where this, it's if you have a bad one, you've got months until you can redeem yourself. So it just makes those special ones and that feeling of that when you nail it just so much better.
This particular event has had a huge injection of star power with Eliud Kipchoge and Sifan Hassan running. I know that fans massively connect with those runners. I'm just interested, is that something the field feel? And do you guys kind of fan out on these athletes as much as we do? Or is it, these are ultimately just elite competitors and you're in that sort of league in your career?
It does feel a bit surreal to be just sitting next to Eliud. Like I've never had that experience before, and I've always seen him as just a very inspirational, kind of calming person, and he does have that presence, that aura, and it's cool to feel that in the room.
The cause is the cause. I think we have come here to run, we have come here to enjoy every mile in Sydney. So we'll actually present ourselves at the starting line, enjoy every mile, and we make sure that we go across the finishing line.
And then Sifan, I raced her last year in Paris, and I love her attitude and her approach and her just eagerness to break down barriers and do things a bit differently.
You know, it's the hard thing, it's not like track. So I ran track, I know I already memorized all the laps, but the marathon, the course, you can't really think before you do.
I can really feel the way they've elevated this event by being here, and I think we'll feel that out there on Sunday as well. Just, the lead up, there's a lot of momentum building, and I think having them here has been a big part of that.
Like, he is the greatest ever. When he walks into a room, like, everyone still looks at him, no matter, even if it's a bunch of elite marathon runners, everyone still like notices that Eliud's in the room. He just has this presence around him, and I'm still starstruck every time I see him, but I still want to beat him, and he's still the best runner ever. But you have to be, when the race comes, you switch it off, and it's just try and beat him.
When you talk about beating a competitor like that, I find that really fascinating. For fans who maybe don't understand, aside from his obvious immense speed, what makes him such a formidable competitor, and how does someone try to take down the greatest ever to do it?
Obviously he's such a great runner, and he's done such good things for the sport. You can see people here in Sydney to see him, which is crazy.
And I believe that legacy is not earned because of medals. Legacy is not earned because of records. But legacy is earned when you inspire someone. Legacy is earned when you make a change in sport. Legacy is earned when you motivate somebody to cut out of the doors.
I'm not going to say I'm trying to beat him now when he's at his best. He's definitely not at his best anymore. Hope he's not too close and can hear me talking. But and so I'm not thinking that I'm definitely better than Eliud at all. So he now is I think he's moved on to a different stage of his career, and he wants to just run marathons, and he's still going to run bloody quick. He can run 204, 205 still. So, but I think I'm about a 205, 206 runner. So I feel like we're kind of crossing over as I'm getting better. He's kind of slowing down a little bit. So, but he will never give up, I don't think.
First and foremost, running at 40 is a privilege, and running at 40 actually is a success. And I'm happy that my body is still handling the trainings. I am happy that I'm still running like anybody else.
I think the casual fan maybe doesn't appreciate what makes these athletes so great and why they're so good. Could you maybe explain to us just why people like Sifan, Eliud are just feeling like they're almost on another level, but also how you go about trying to beat someone like that, because it's tough.
Yeah, I think you have to do what you can do to prepare to the best of your ability, and then when you go out there and race, you're playing to your own strengths, and you can't control, obviously, what they're doing, but I think you've just got to go in with an open mind and not be too intimidated, and don't choose not to do things because you know what an amazing athlete they are. You've got to block that out and just continue to do what you think is best for your own race. But when we talk about how are they another level, I mean, what Sifan did at the Olympics in terms of racing the track events and then coming out and winning the marathon, they're just feats that, I mean, to even line up and try that is amazing, and she pulled it off. And I love the way she just, throughout the entire race in Paris, she just sort of hung back and didn't do more work than she needed to, and then she pulled a move that just blew the other runners away. She was so strong, and Eliud's just shown consistency throughout his career that is not only really impressive physically, but I think mentally, and the way he promotes the sport along the way and all of the media commitments he has. He juggles a lot, and he does it really well.
Just finally on this course, is the way I'm reading it in terms of the majors, it's got more elevation than any other course. Is this... It's a beautiful course, but is it the hardest possible major you can run?
I think so. Yeah, it is hilly, and there's some very tough, like windy sections as well, which just kind of kills your momentum, and towards the end your legs just get very tired because of that. But I don't think that really matters. Like, I know, like when you look at Boston and New York, like they're also tough courses, but they have a lot of history behind them. So it's more, you more talk about I finished 6th at Boston. Like that's what you talk about. You don't talk about the time. And Sydney will get that in a few years once it has that history. Once it's been a major for a bit, no one cares about the times. It'll just be a race, and people are going there to compete and win and whatnot. So I think it is tough, but I don't think that matters. Like it's a marathon at the end of the day. Everyone's coming here to finish as high as possible.
I know parts of the course, but I haven't been over the whole course, so I'll be able to answer that question better on Sunday. But it does look like there's always sort of something happening, whether it's a gentle rolling hill, a corner. So it's very technical, and I think that's part of the beauty of this course. People aren't going in there or out there necessarily thinking I've got to hit these splits. It's about racing the race, and that brings its own excitement.
Thanks to Jess Stenson and Brett Robinson for their time ahead of the Sydney Marathon, and good luck to them and everyone running it this weekend. Headlines. The AFL Top 8 is finally set, and it's the Gold Coast Suns who have made finals for the first time in the history of the expansion club.
What a way to send the Suns to September for the first time! And they're jumping all over the big fella.
They thumped Essendon to finish 7th for the season. Their reward, a road trip to Perth to take on Freo week 1 in another do-or-die clash. That Saturday evening, September 6, 7:35pm Eastern Time. Earlier that day, the Giants will host Hawthorn in Western Sydney from 3:15pm Eastern. Again, loser is out. All finals games are going to be live and commercial-free on the ABC Listen app. Roosters coach Trent Robinson has spoken about the controversy surrounding South Sydney player Brandon Smith. The Hookers' former teammates at the Chooks were implicated as part of Queensland Police's summons for the 29-year-old on drug supply charges. Robinson has been frustrated by the media coverage.
It's been really hard to see the game that people have been playing about connecting the dots. This isn't a game for these people. This is their lives and their integrity at stake. And so that's the stuff that's really disappointing.
Australian Olympic legend Jess Fox is recovering after having to undergo kidney surgery. Fox had to have a tumour removed. The 3-time gold medalist will miss the remainder of the canoe slalom World Cup events in Europe. She's released a statement saying it's been a whirlwind over the last few weeks, but I'm all good. Just a couple of gnarly new scars, a bit less kidney, and a whole lot more toughness. Didn't think she could get any tougher. There you go. Tennis, and a huge win for Australian Priscilla Hon at the US Open. The world number 126, beating 17th seed Ludmila Samsonova in 3 sets to move into the 3rd round of a Grand Slam for the first time in her career. Jordan Thompson was not so lucky in the men's. He was beaten in 4 sets by Frenchman Adrian Manarino. And are we seeing the demise of Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim in real time? The once mighty Red Devils just lost on penalties to 4th Division team Grimsby Town in the Carabao Cup, and Amorim gave a rambling interview in the post-match. He just sounded like a man who is very, very lost right now.
We need to be proud to go to the pitch. We know that every draw in Premier League is going to be a huge problem. So you came from one draw. We play quite well both games in Premier League. We know that people will get everything in our club, and we come to the game with a 4th Division team and we perform like that. I think, again, the players clearly show what they want.
I'm Patrick Stack. This is ABC Sport Daily, produced by Poppy Penny. Thanks to ITV for the extra audio used in this episode.
Discover more great ABC podcasts, live radio and exclusives on the ABC Listen app.